Hello, welcome to YOLO Crypto. My name is Daniel Scott Jacobs. Today is Saturday, February 22nd, and today we are going to talk about, what is staking, how does it work, and where do we do it. Okay, so I'm going to explain what staking is, and there's many places to stake, all offering different APYs, different security. There's different methods of staking, and we're going to explain this. So this here is an actual picture of my backyard, and as you can see, I'm just kidding. This is kind of a cool graphic I pulled up, and staking is kind of like a lot of times it's referred to yield farming. Now, yield farming can be other things, be things other than staking, but generally, yield farming involves staking. So, what is staking? Let's get started here. So, staking is the act of committing your cryptocurrencies to support a blockchain network by contributing to its security and efficiency. Okay, so how does staking work? Participants commit cryptos that use proof of stake consensus mechanisms. Okay, participants instantly become validators. Now, let me just be super clear here. When you stake, one way or another, either directly or indirectly, your funds are going to a validator, okay? However, there are methods of staking, whether they disclose it or not, in which you'll stake a crypto asset, and that company or that entity or that exchange will then lend your crypto assets to other people and receive an interest on their lend, okay? And you'll get a portion of that interest, okay? So don't be confused that it always goes to a validator, which is someone who validates and records transactions, and is essentially mining. But most of the time, 99% of the time, that is what happens. And you can usually figure out the ins and outs of the staking, of like what's actually being done with your crypto assets, who's it's going to, by just doing some research on the site. Remember, no matter how much information I offer you, or any of the YouTuber offers you, you want to do DYOR, do your own research. Okay. Number 3, so network randomly chooses which validators will confirm blocks of transactions. Okay, as I said, mining. And then number 4, the block is added to the blockchain and a validator receives staking rewards. Okay, there's different forms of staking rewards, and there's different percentages you get based on the validator, or based on the algorithm in which is providing rewards. But let's move on. So what's yield farming? So this is my father in the tractor in our backyard. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm easily entertained. So yield farming is a strategy in decentralized financed DeFi where users earn rewards by providing liquidity to different DeFi platforms by depositing their cryptocurrency assets into liquidity pools, essentially acting like a market maker, and in return receiving interest, fees, or newly minted tokens for their contribution, essentially allowing them to generate passive income. Not essentially, they are generating passive income on their crypto holdings by actively moving their assets across various platforms to find the highest possible yield. Okay. So yield farming is not something that's like widely talked about. I mean, there's many like yield farming is like the digital farming, right? Essentially, you can, like, if you have, like, what I tell people a lot is, like, because people will ask me, like, what's the best way to come up and what's best way to make money? Because, like, I'm like an underdog story, right? Like, I've made all the mistakes. Like, I've had drug issues. Like, I went to prison for 5 years. Like, spent half my 20s in prison. Like, I've come back. I'm into crypto now. This is how I make my money. And that's the reason I made the channels, to kind of provide you guys with the tools and the information that I use in order to make money passively. So once you get to like the point of where you have over $1 million, like, you can, even if it's in like the stock market, you can pull 4%. Well, you can't live off 40,000. 4% of $1 million is 40,000. But say you pull 8% a year, that's $80,000 a year for you to spend, and your $1 million is still going to stay there because, in theory, in the proven track record of the stock market in general, if you choose the right ETF, or the S&P 500, you're going to get 8 to 11%. Like last year was 20%. This year will probably be pretty high. That's what's projected, maybe close to 20% again. And that's pretty outstanding. So once you have money, you can live off that money if you do the right things. Now, it does offer and make you accept a certain amount of risk, but there's risk with everything. And I mean, you should never have your money just sitting in a bank, right? Like if you have crypto assets, you might as well stake them or stake a portion of them. You want to diversify. I wouldn't stake like all my million onto one exchange or in one pool or with one validator. So I would decentralize that, but there's no reason for your crypto to just be sitting in a cold storage wallet. Some of mine is. Okay, let's say you have $100,000. Okay, maybe you want to stake like 75% of it or half of it. Like I have crypto in a Ledger wallet that I will never sell. I'll never touch. It's Bitcoin. I think I have a little bit of Ethereum in there, maybe some Dogecoin because I am a believer of Doge. But there's ways to earn passive income on your money, okay? It's not just like a real estate thing. You don't necessarily have to buy the best stock. Once you have worked hard, saved your money, which is essentially energy, right? That's your time and your effort, right? In a different form, you can make enough money to live, okay? So put your money to work for you is what I'm getting at. Now, so there's two types of staking. Okay, there's custodial, in which your funds and keys are managed by a third party. It's more user-friendly. There is counterparty risk. It involves fees usually. And there's possibly additional features like insurance, customer support, etc. This comes with more risk, okay? Anytime you bring another party into your venture, you're going to have more risk. The next type, or the alternative of custodial staking is non-custodial staking. So you retain full control of your private keys and your funds, meaning that your funds stay in your wallet, okay? You delegate them usually directly to a validator, but the fees stay in your wallet, and this gives you more control, okay? So there's greater decentralization and independence. You have more responsibility. There's lower or possibly no fees included. And the reason because of that is because it requires more technical know-how. Now, 90% of the people that do stake do it with custodial staking, okay? They use a third-party platform, and every single cryptocurrency exchange as far as I know, offer staking. Like, for example, this one's actually not on the list that I'll show you because I have, like, the 5 best staking platforms or wallets, and we're going to show that in a second. But on Coinbase, I get, like, 8.3% for my Solana that's staked. Now, that's pretty damn good, okay? So you're going to participate, in market gains, and you're going to receive the staking rewards, okay? And I'm sure that Coinbase has some validator working in the background or what have you. Maybe they take everything that you staked and then they send it to a validator, and I would assume it's pretty big, maybe like Mara or Riot. I don't actually know the ins and outs behind it, and I'm not sure that they disclose it, okay? They just give you the percentage. And one thing I will say, because it's on my mind, is that when I tried to, this is on Coinbase, when I tried to withdraw my stake, it took like a week or two. Like I had to, I wanted to pay down my mortgage a little bit, so I was like, let me unstake some of the Solana and sell it, because it's kind of at a peak, but it took like fucking 2 weeks. It took like a while to get out. So that's one thing to consider, and we are going to get into that. Now, here are some facts for you, so just bear with me as we read through this. So, what are the risks of yield farming? Okay, so you're going to want to know these things before you get into it, and again, do your own research. So, smart contract vulnerabilities. Now, if there's a lot of people staking, again, you can look at the track record. You can talk to people. Look on Reddit. You can see the track record of the validator. You know, essentially the smart contract. You're gonna know if there's bugs or if there's been a past hack. But these things show up out of the blue. So DeFi protocols rely on smart contracts, self-executing code that manages your funds. A bug or exploit in the contract code can result in significant losses if hackers target these vulnerabilities. Okay, something to definitely pay attention to. Impermanent loss. If you provide liquidity to a pool, you're exposed to impermanent loss. This occurs when the price of deposit tokens diverges from each other, potentially reducing your returns compared to simply holding your tokens. So, if you have, let's say Solana, let's say Xcoin, whatever, is in a staking pool, okay, and the price of the coin is 200 per coin, excuse me, and the price of the coin goes down $100, right? Goes down 50%. Your staking rewards are going to go down substantially because you essentially have less funds staked. Okay, that's what that's getting at. Next is market volatility, which runs right up that alley. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile. Rapid price swings can drastically impact the value of your assets and the yield you receive, sometimes turning promising gains into losses. Okay, so a good time to like get into staking would be like at the bottom of the bear market. You buy your coins, you immediately stake them. You're going to participate in upside gains for that coin, and you're going to get the staking rewards. And you might as well at that point put your rewards back into the staking pool, right? Whether that's tokens or whether that's funds, and we're going to get into that. Rug pulls and fraud. So some yield farming projects are run by anonymous teams, boop, 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 or lack robust security audits. In a rug pull, developers might suddenly withdraw all liquidity, leaving investors with worthless tokens. Okay, that's never fun. It sounds just like it is, and we all know what a rug pull is, and that happens in the staking world or the yield farming world as well. So regulatory and legal risks. Now, if you're staking on like a noted platform like Coinbase, like I'm not worried about legal risk and regulatory stuff because they're going to take care of that for me. Taxes are there, and we're going to get into that. So DeFi is a rapidly evolving space with uncertain regulatory environments. Changes in laws or increased scrutiny could impact the operation of yield farming protocols and the value of assets involved. If you're in the United States, okay, this is something you want to be looking at and be excited about, because the man in charge, the president, I don't want to say his name because every time I do, they refuse to promote my videos. I don't know why, but you want to keep an eye on that stuff. I don't think anything in the United States, or there's really not going to be a country that comes out and like completely prohibits staking, because essentially banks are doing the same thing, right? When you get a CD or have a savings account, you receive a return for the assets you have in there. That's because the bank is lending your money. They're not sending it to a validator. They're giving your money out to other people. And I'll take this point to mention. So there's a thing called fractional reserve banking, which is completely ridiculous if you've never heard of it. So when you deposit $100, right, how much of that money do you think the bank holds on to? Right, they're going to lend out a portion of it. How much do you think they hold on to? At the most is 90%. If a bank, some banks don't have to hold any. You only have to hold on to 10% if your AUM, assets under management, is above a certain billions, and it's in the billions. But if you're a smaller bank, you don't have to hold on to any. So most of the money in the world is just digital, just zeros on paper, on the computer, and it doesn't actually exist. So that's something interesting, and it makes you think. Like, let's say something bad happens, or there's like a black swan event, and everybody runs to the bank to withdraw their funds. They're not gonna fucking have it. Right? Think about why you have to tell the bank if you want to withdraw ahead of time if you want to withdraw more than $10,000. Right? There's a reason for that. Let's move on here. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. So number 6 is liquidity and market risks. That's why all my money is in crypto, or USDT. So which is crypto. So low liquidity in some pools can make it difficult to exit positions quickly. Okay, the risk is compounded during market downturns when many participants try to withdraw simultaneously. So that's something to keep in mind. You'll see like a lot of an incentive that sites or wallets or exchanges will put as disclaimers like, we will match whatever you put in. So let's say you put in 100 Solana, they're going to hold on to 100 Solana of their own, just to make sure that there's robust liquidity, okay? That's just an example. And then number 7 is network and transaction costs. So high gas fees, especially on networks like Ethereum. Ethereum's pretty much the only one with high fees that people talk about. Can erode returns, okay? Like, you think if it's costing you money to transfer to the site or to the wallet, if you're using custodial staking, make sure that you remember it's going to cost at least that to take it back. Yes, there's times of network congestion, but that's kind of a rule of thumb to go by. Additionally, network congestion may delay transactions, potentially exposing you to unfavorable market conditions, okay? Like I said, I was trying to unstake my Solana. I had missed the point I was trying to sell it because it took so long. I was waiting. I was like, let me wait for a good time, try to get as much staking reward as I can before I sell, because I thought I'd be able to pull out instantly, and I didn't apparently read the fine print. In summary, while yield farming can produce high returns, it also carries multiple layers of risk, from technical vulnerabilities to market fluctuations to fraud and regulatory uncertainties. Always conduct thorough research and consider diversifying your investments to mitigate these risks. Okay, like I said, if you're staking like definitely over 100,000. If you've got 10 million, it's not a big deal. But let's say you have $200,000. That's your net worth, okay? And you want to stake 100,000 of it. Split it up, okay? Put it into at least two different staking pools. And experiment with different types of staking. If if you're new and you don't know anything, use custodial staking. Okay, if you're if you're someone that writes code, there's no reason why you should be using custodial staking, because you clearly have the wherewithal to wrap your mind around and to navigate the landscape of non-custodial staking. Okay, so it's just based on how much you know. I don't use any really big staking pools like for the sole purpose of staking. Like, yes, I use Coinbase. That's where I do some of my trading, because I buy new Coinbase releases and it usually works. That's something I'll mention. I made a video on that. And but I don't go and search for staking. I think I will start to, though, because I have some money and there's no reason for the crypto to just be sitting there. I do have crypto that I will never touch and never stake, because anything can happen and there is risks, as I mentioned. But just diversify, okay? Let's move on here. So here are the 5 best staking platforms. Now, this is by the Cryptonomist. Okay, there's many sites and a lot of them are paid for. This one I felt like was pretty fair, and I did my own research. I've been to every site, but if you go to Google and you type in what are the best staking platforms, where offers the highest yield, you're going to come up with the first handful are going to be 10 best staking, 12 best staking, blah blah, and a lot of those are paid for, right? So people will pay to get their thing in there. Yeah, sure, they do offer good things and they are competitive, but the reason that they're number 1 or number 2 is because there's money involved, right? As usual. So this is as straightforward as I could do, and you still have to do your own research. Don't just trust what I say. But let's take a look at some data I've pulled here. So Best Wallet, okay, a lot of people haven't heard of it. I didn't really hear of it before I did this research. There's 20 plus blockchains supported, so the reward is 5 to 20%. Okay, if you're getting 20% for staking, remember, there's a theory that's too good to be true. I'm not saying 20% is. I'm just saying do your own research and be wary of who you're staking with. Okay, make sure there's people who are actively staking, and make sure that there's good reviews. All right, and then we have ANKR. I say Anchor, maybe not. So 60 plus blockchains were supported, which is good. There's a lot of blockchains, and I'll mention that on most of these things you can buy cryptocurrency as well. All right, it's 2.5 to 8.9%. Okay, that's around what I'm getting from my Solana. I don't think it's 8.9. It's a little bit lower than that, 8.5, something like that. Then we have Uphold, 19 blockchains supported, up to 14.4%. And different cryptocurrencies based on the protocol and based on market activity, volatility, and participants. That's a big thing that determines the staking rewards is the participants, because a lot of times companies, or I keep saying companies, like exchanges or wallets, will go and they'll offer a high staking reward, which is subject to change, because they want to onboard users, right? And the general rule is, honestly, is the more people that are staking, the less reward you'll get. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. Then we have I said Uphold. So Margex, MERGEX. So 5 blockchains supported, 6 to 7%. Okay, but the thing is, it's based on convenience, and that's the thing we're gonna mention in a little bit. Is if you're already using Margex and they're offering 6 to 7%, if you're trying to get 8.5%, but you have to make a new account and transfer new stuff and do another KYC, know your customer, it's is it really worth it? Probably not. And the last is Nexo. There's 35 blockchains supported, and it's 2.5 to 26%. Okay, one thing I like that crypto staking platforms offer is you can stake your USDT. Okay, because there's no market fluctuations. It's going to stay pegged with the dollar. And some of them offer 9, 10, 12%. So that's something really good to pay attention to. And then the best thing would be if you get that, and then you can pull your money quickly, right? Because let's say you want to buy an asset, you want to be able to get that money out if all USDT is staked, right? Let's move on here. Strong considerations, okay? You want to make sure that you think about these things before you stake, all right? Reward rates and vulnerability. So understand the APY, and if it fluctuates based on market conditions, which usually it doesn't. A lot of it has to do with onboard users. But if the company's struggling, we already had the big wash, with the FTX, the BlockFi, the Celsius, all that nonsense. So I don't feel like that's going to happen again, because there's more scrutiny on where the funds are going. But still, it's something to pay attention to and read the fine print. So reward frequency. How often are you getting your rewards? Is it daily? Some do daily, some do weekly. And then reinvestment options. Most of them are going to want you to automatically reinvest, but something to pay attention to. Sometimes you can alter that. Lockup periods and liquidity. What is the duration, and is there a fixed period? Sometimes they'll make you stake for a certain period a certain amount of time. And if you withdraw early, there are fees. Okay, withdrawal conditions. Okay. C, minimum requirements and fees. Is there a minimum stake amount? Is a validator involved? So 99% of the time, a validator is involved. And sometimes they want you to stake, a certain amount. Like I've got one one Dogecoin, right? Can I get in? How much am I going to get? So that's something to pay attention to, and sometimes you'll be left on. That's fine, because you'll find someone who's going to take your crypto and stay and offer a staking for it. Maybe not with one Doge, but if you have $100, you'll find someone to put it. Security and platform risk. Let's move this ugly person up here. Sorry. Security and platform risk. Is the method custodial or non-custodial? And you're going to know right away whether you have to transfer your funds or not. What is the track record of validator or staking pool? All right, easy things to figure out. If the tracker has got a bad name, Google that person. Look at LinkedIn. Okay, search YouTube. There's going to be people bad-mouthing him if he's done bad things in the past. And he might not necessarily be a bad person in terms of like ulterior motives, but he just might be lazy, right? There might be downtime. He might be like double signing blocks. And he gets penalized for that. And there are sometimes fees, and they can withhold your staking rewards. So that's something to pay attention to. Let's see here. So letter E is network and token economics. Consider how inflation/new token issuance can impact rewards and validator behavior slashing. Okay, so slashing is when the validator misbehaves, and some of that just could be downtime. Like, say he gets sick, he gets the flu, and he's not up for 3 days. Okay, he could be slashed for that. Inflation is new token issuance. Okay, that is literally inflation. And sometimes when you get paid in new tokens, that can make your reward go down, not necessarily as a whole number, but based on the tokens you have staked. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. And letter F is tax and regulatory implications. Staking rewards in taxable income. Sorry, I just zoned out for a sec. Staking rewards and taxable income is pool/validator complying with regulations. Now, like I said, I don't think there's going to be any major thing that's going to impact staking, but like, if there is, it's because banks are driving it, and there's what's the word I'm looking for? They're lobbying to try to destroy staking, because you can get paid more for staking than you can from any fucking bank. Okay, that's why I love crypto, because just like we just outsize gains, right? And you're still early. If you're watching this video, you are early. Trust me. And if you don't trust staking, you don't like staking, there's no reason why you have to. Okay, the choice is yours, but if you're doing custodial staking, you're gonna lose some of that independence and some of that decision making, especially if there's a lockup period. Okay, now I have some final thoughts. Okay, this is my mom picking from our tree in my grandmother's backyard. I'm just kidding. Got you again. All right, final thoughts. So examine lock period and time it takes to withdraw funds. Obviously, you want to make sure your shit's not locked in there forever. And I put no place mentioned this, but I put in the time it takes to withdraw funds because of the experience that I had with Coinbase. I'm not knocking Coinbase. I love Coinbase. That's what I use to onboard my fiat. But be aware of the fine print. I'm sure it says somewhere that I missed that it can take some time to withdraw funds, and it might be different based on how much you're withdrawing or who your track record with the company. I don't fucking know. Convenience, yield, and security balance. Find a balance, okay? If you're getting like 50% for staking something, but the risk is like, there's a 20% chance you're going to lose your firstborn child. Is it worth it? I mean, I would, but no, I don't have any kids, but not yet. Ooh. But, something to keep in mind. Find the right balance. Make sure you're comfortable. You want peace of mind at the end of the day, okay? You want to make sure that at the very least your crypto is still there, right? You don't want to get beat, trust me. Remember taxes. Remember to pay your taxes. If not, Uncle Sam or whoever does the taxes, the IRS is going to come knocking. Compounding options. Do they automatically put in your returns into the staking pool? Can you withdraw staking returns? If there's a lock period, is a lock period on your staking returns as well? All things to consider. Selling. Do you want to sell the cryptocurrency? And I mentioned this because of my experience with Coinbase. I wanted to sell. I couldn't. It took a while to withdraw the funds. So, especially you want to remember this if you're trying to like time the top of the market and actually sell this cryptocurrency. If you're not worried about selling, don't worry about it. But like the worst case scenario would be like you want to sell it because you feel like it's top of the market, but it's taking you time to withdraw your funds, or you're getting fees for that, right? So that would suck. Just keep that in mind. Now, what do you think? Make a comment, post a comment, do a comment. Boom. That's the video I have for you guys, okay? I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just trying to put the facts out and trying to help people make money like I do. If you like the content, if you like the video, subscribe. I'm going to make, I make about 10 videos a week, and I put shorts out every day. So one of the shorts I have is called Crypto Legends, and I give you a crypto fact. One of the most recent ones that was cool was, like, there was this guy in 2013, he came on Reddit, he was like, I'm from year 2025, and what happens is Bitcoin blows up, right? It's worth over $1 million. This could still happen. That's why it's exciting right now. He said Bitcoin's going to blow up to $1 million a coin, and there's going to be a big wealth gap between people who adopted Bitcoin, own Bitcoin, and people who don't own Bitcoins, losers, and governments start to collapse and all this crazy stuff. Wouldn't that be weird if it happened? I'd probably find that guy and hump him. Yeah, so that's just fun. And then I do another thing that's a crypto tip. I do a crypto tip every day. And they're just good things to listen to. I try to make them entertaining. If you guys want to see any certain content, you can tell me about it. Post it in a comment, and I'll make that video. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Thanks.